Good morning, Westeros!
And welcome to our Morning Throners podcast.
I'm Nelson.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Glow.
And I'm Kyle.
And we're the fucking Morning Throners.
And welcome back to another episode of Morning Throners podcast. We got Tyrion 7 on the docket. He's leaving the Vale with Bronn. They're kind of making their way through. And to give you a little recap of where we last saw Tyrion, here's Glow.
Last time that we saw Tyrion on the road, he wormed his way out of the Vale with a sneak attack victory by Bronn, acting like a panther and whatnot. Now he's taking the high road to see if he can make it back to King's Landing. Will he make it? Let's find out.
All right. So after that recap, exactly where Glow ended, we pick up with Bronn and Tyrion walking down the high road, which it seems like they might be decently far, but it's approaching nighttime, and they're thinking about, I guess, setting up some sort of camp. And this is kind of where the two differ in how they want to escape the Vale, because they've been pretty much told as they left the gate, don't come back here or we will kill you. And
so I think this is the first night. So they left the Bloody Gate. So they've been gone from the Eyrie for a while, but they left the Bloody Gate this morning.
Okay.
Yep.
Just wanted to correct that.
Keep going. No, that makes sense. But I do think they probably, like, Bronn wasn't going to, waste any time. Like, you could see he wants to hit the high road running and not slow down. And if they're going to, set up camp, they're going to, dig a hole to hide in. And Tyrion's
Tyrion's
kind of
grabbing
chill
firewood and hey, would this be good for a fire? Yeah, would this be good?
Kyle, let's get your overall thoughts on this chapter, I guess, just to start off. Because last chapter you hated it, the Jon chapter.
Yeah, you did hate. That was your least favorite.
Well, nothing happened in that Jon one. That was another
So what about this
filler
one?
chapter.
Was there another filler chapter?
Yeah, I feel like there was one
That you
before, but
recall?
I don't remember what it is.
There has never once been a filler chapter in.
When it all boils down, it's all filler.
So,
Never.
I
once.
mean, I guess world building, if you want to look at it that way, sure. But it's that last one wasn't even really that much world building. It was. Why are we talking about the last chapter?
I asked about this chapter.
I know. So anyway, I guess my first thing is did I say that he was gonna make friends with the barbarians or whatever? Because if I didn't, I'm really mad I didn't make that call. That was the first prediction that
I think
feel
you
like
made a great prediction on this chapter, and if Nelson could do his due diligence to go back and find out, I do think you were point on with.
Okay, I was gonna say because
Kyle, I think you
this
said
is the
something
first
along
one
the
where I
lines of making a deal with him or something like that.
Okay. So, because like I said, if this is the first time when I was like, shit, I should have saw this coming if I didn't. Because I mean, like we talked about this, it's been weeks since we make any of these predictions, so I don't really remember exactly what I said. And especially after reading it, it's like, oh yeah, that's definitely what I said, But that's, of course, you want to give yourself the credit.
Yeah, and I can remember the first time I read this chapter, or I mean, I watched the show first, I'm pretty sure, but I had no clue what he was gonna finagle his way, which makes sense. He finagles everything. That's what he does. He's a finagler, and to not think that way, I guess you're just you're not thinking.
Well, yeah, that and these guys are. I mean, while they're not the best fighters, but especially, so we're jumping way ahead here, obviously, but they're not the best fighter. They're not the best equipped, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But after this, they're supposed to be getting equipped. And then, who better to fight in the rocks in the mountains and go up the Eyrie than the guys that are used to fighting in the fucking rocks in the mountains? So, I mean, it should have been laid out. It was pretty obvious, I think. And it was obvious, but it was easy to miss. How's that?
Yeah. No, I mean, I thought it was once again spot on by you predicting.
So
I did.
So I found it.
Something's going to go down on the high road, but he's going to get out of it. He's got to live. Unfortunately, I know that. So then he is going to rally. Yeah. Then he's going to rally the Raiders.
Yeah, there you go.
The
Fuck yeah. That was dead on.
So I think once you guys talked me into the fact that he couldn't go a different direction is when I realized that was what was going to happen. So I guess I kind of nailed it, if you want to say it that way, Jeff. Or Nelson, whoever was saying.
So Nelson spoon-fed you a good one.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, I mean, I have no idea what this. I don't know what the map looks like yet.
Well, funny you should ask. I'll insert it in the YouTube clip right
It's in the
here.
front of the book, dude. You haven't been studying your map?
Oh, there is one in the front of the book? Oh, there it is. Yeah, I guess you're right. No, I haven't been studying this. Now I know what I'm doing this weekend. Yeah, I mean, there's really not another route to go, because they have to go through the fucking hills. Either way.
All right, here's your map. This is the same one we showed a couple of episodes ago. Erie, Bloody Gate. That's where they're at. They're just chilling right there on the outskirts of the mountain. King's Landing is down here.
Yeah.
River One would be over here more, I guess. And then King's Landing way off. Or Castle Rock way off to the west. So there's your map, Kyle.
I mean, I'm sure I've seen it before. I just didn't remember.
All right, so finally take us into this chapter, Jeff.
Oh, we're working now? I mean, I already said that they were like... We came to the conclusion that they're a day's ride out, and like Bronn wants to just keep on going, like ride the horses as far as they can go, hide in the dark at night, just do whatever they can to get the hell out of the mountains as quick as they can. And then Tyrion, I guess surprisingly, is like, look, I'm taking my time. I'm going to be comfortable. I'm about to start this fire, because if I'm going to die well fed and comfortable. So that's what we're going to do. And you can leave me here if you want, but that's fine, because I know you don't like people. So we kind of get into the story of Tyrion and Bronn, and I guess the beginning of this relationship as they escape.
We're kind of in the middle of this relationship. They've already, I'd say they're past the beginning.
But I think we get more into the details of how it actually became to fruition, and we learn why Bronn fought for Tyrion in the trial by combat. And
so Tyrion basically says here, he thinks to himself, I think, he's like, I know Bronn doesn't really have any loyalty. He's like, I saw him kill Chigan just because he was making too much noise and is dying. Like, he was wounded and he was, like, crying too much, so he kills Chigan for no reason.
Well, he's going to kill us, yeah.
So he's like, I know Bronn has no loyalty. But Tyrion knows that the reason, like, he's different because he has money. And that's what Bronn wants. Like, and basically, the more shit Tyrion, like, puts him through, like, and that Bronn has to stick his own neck out for Tyrion, the more money Tyrion owes him.
Well, and he even tells him at some point, he says, look, man, I know that shit could change with you real quick, because I know you're out for money, but whatever anybody offers you, I will match it.
One of Nelson's favorite lines.
Whatever they offer you, I'll match it. What's the one line he says, like, what do you want? Gold? Land? Woman? Keep me alive and you'll have it.
Yeah, exactly.
So the other thing, though, the other reason Tyrion sounds like he wants to fire and everything is they're already watching him. Like, he's like, we're already in their territory. Like,
yeah, Tyrion doesn't think that even if they do Bronn's plan, that they're getting out of there, like, scot-free.
So we might as well enjoy it, or not enjoy it, but be comfortable.
So, like, then Bronn tells him, like, I'm here to get you out safely. Don't expect any, like, special treatment. Like, I'm not. He says something stupid, like, I'm not wiping your shits or something like that, right?
And he was like, how'd you know you were gonna fight for me? It was like, well, you knew you could get paid well for it, so. And you're going to take any bet you can. So I'm sure that's the quote you want to read.
Well, that's when they start. Well, first they start, like Bronn finally agrees to, like, okay, I'll go get something to eat, right? And, like, he goes off to, I think he kills a lamb. And Tyrion, like, makes a fire. Goat. And Tyrion makes a fire and everything.
Cleans the horses, tidies up.
Yeah. Does all, like the squire
steward.
Does this? Yeah, does all the squire work.
So how is Tyrion gonna clean a horse that's like twice as tall?
I don't know what clean a horse. I think you just gotta
rock.
You just gotta pet it.
You can brush him down.
He rubbed it down. Yeah, you gotta brush him.
Get up on
that's brushing
get up on
cleaning.
a stump.
Yeah, sure. Bring him next to us.
Come here, horse.
But he was just bitching about how his legs and back.
He's always
being
bitching.
a good little
That's
squire.
every chapter he mentions how his legs are cramping and his back is bent and whammy.
Except when
he's a classic pitcher.
Maybe he shouldn't have done that backflip and hurt himself.
Yeah,
really.
That screwed up his spine.
That's where it all began. Yeah, he threw out his back.
So they're sitting there eating the food, and Bronn starts talking about who's going to take first watch, and Tyrion's like, I hope it doesn't come to that. Like, I hope they show up before we even fall asleep. And then he thinks about, and Bronn complains or says something about how Tyrion gave all his gold to Mord, the guy who was, like, in the jail with him. Jeff, can you read that quote?
Yep. Even Mord had scarcely believed it when Tyrion tossed him the leather purse. The Galler's eyes had gone big as boiled eggs as he yanked open the drawstring and beheld the glint of gold.
I kept the silver.
Tyrion had told him with a crooked smile.
But you were promised the gold, and there it is.
It was more than a man like Mord could hope to earn in a lifetime of abusing prisoners.
And remember what I said. This is only a taste. If you ever grow tired of Lady Erin's service, present yourself at Casterly Rock, and I'll pay you the rest of what I owe you.
With golden dragons spilling out of both hands, Mord had fallen to both knees and promised that he would do just that.
So, Kyle, I have a prediction for you based on this quote. Do we ever see Mord again?
No.
You don't want to see Mord the Galler again?
Gaylord.
I think it's Goler.
Gaylor? Whatever.
I think it's Goler.
It's a fucking Game of Thrones word
It's
anyway.
not Gaylord.
Yeah, that probably is a Game of Thrones word.
It's not.
So I mean, I kind of hope he shows up sometime, just like some weird time in the middle of some like massive event happening at Casterly Rock. Yeah, or
shows up to
exactly. Fight, or just like, yeah, there's just something crazy going on there, like a war. Yeah, exactly. Like the battle is there, and he.
Have any of you guys seen Avatar: Last Airbender?
No, I don't waste my time.
Yes.
At one of the last episodes in that, towards the end, somewhere in the last season, like basically every like different village they met throughout their travels, like the main character of each village all joins up in the last episode to like fight the battle. That's what's gonna happen in Game of Thrones. Every like character of a side character is gonna show up in the end, and Mord's gonna be there. It's gonna be great.
But I guess my to finish my prediction, I think he's just gonna die at the Eyrie.
Poor Mord.
Yeah, that's my guess.
And we're gonna find out through Kat's perspective next chapter, because we don't have any other perspectives in the Eyrie. That's what I'm asking. Well, yes.
Well, Jaime's gonna be there eventually. I don't know like what perspectives we have. I mean, they could add.
I'm just saying in the immediate future, we're not gonna have any characters once Kat's gone too, because Tyrion and Kat are our eyes there. But it's cool. It doesn't matter. Whatever. It was more of a joke prediction. So after that, Tyrion asks Bronn asks what the first thing they're gonna do when they get to the river is, and Tyrion's like, I'm gonna get wine and a bed, and then eat and a whore.
and a whore. I think he says whore first.
And either to Casterly Rock or King's Landing. He says he has some questions about a certain dagger. I don't know if we have anything more to say about this dagger. I don't remember what Kyle's last prediction was.
He says, so you were telling it true. It was not your knife. And then he says, do I look like a liar to you? So, I mean, I was thinking about this, and it could mean, like, his question could be, did they kill the... Like, I mean, he could have questions about the success of the mission, or does anybody know? Like, I mean, it doesn't necessarily clear him of any wrongdoing just to be like, he has questions about this dagger as well.
So you're saying like it could be like questions like, did you kill him with it? Obviously not, because he knows not.
Yeah.
Question
exactly.
like, how did you fuck this up? What
like,
went wrong?
Jaime, why did you do this? Like, I mean, yeah.
I guess more like, what's your current stance on the dagger? Like, who's your number one culprit? I guess.
I mean, I don't know. I still think it's... I think when the last time wasn't it Littlefinger is where I was.
And same for Jon Arryn, or different person for Jon Arryn? I feel like we've talked about this a lot in the last couple of chapters, but I just don't know if we have a definitive like prediction at this point from you.
Kyle, I'm pretty sure, said the last time we asked him, he thought Littlefinger because he knew about it. He brought
for
it up
the dagger. So you just said Littlefinger for the dagger. What about Jon Arryn?
Is that
a poison? I'm asking Kyle, Jeff. Is that a poisoning?
I know, and I'm thinking. I wasn't not answering.
Well, yeah, because I don't actually think you have a definitive answer in your head. That's why I'm kind of putting you on the spot, because we've talked a lot about it, but we.
No, I think that's.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever actually asked him
like straight up. Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not really like honed in on any one person really. Like I don't think there's a definitive answer presented yet via our information. I don't think we have enough information to make that statement. With that being said,
I would agree.
I think,
by the way,
that I think Jaime and Cersei are probably a little more involved in Jon Arryn's death than. Well, and again, they should be involved in Bran getting stabbed too. So it's kind of like this
poker face.
It's this twisted. Yeah, go for it. I'll try not to look, but it's like, I mean, it's all kind of, it's all tied together in a web, like the spider. Maybe it's the spider. Maybe he's doing it.
What a tangled web we weave.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's I guess I'm gonna have to go to Jamie and Cersei now. I think I just talked myself into a corner where if I say anything else, I didn't say enough.
That's the other thing about
like,
you is you like
why?
to just like argue for the sake of arguing, and then like one episode you'll argue one thing, and then the next episode you'll argue the other thing, and then you get no straight up answers.
Yeah, well, I mean that's kind of where I'm at as well, though. Like, I mean, I'm like, yeah, but it makes sense that it's these two.
All right, so we're going with
however
we're going with Cersei Jamie combo for both.
Yeah, for both
Final
of them.
answer?
We'll put that on the.
All right. We'll see.
And I was going to say before
eventually
Nelson
Kyle's
jumped down my
millionaire.
throat that this is exactly how Kyle was last time we asked him. He was unsure if it was Jamie or Cersei or Littlefinger or
That's why
Spider.
we made
exactly
him be sure, and now he just made a definitive answer. So
Okay, and like I said before, you jumped down my throat.
Until next
exactly
time.
what was going to happen. So fuck you.
what's the what's the
great prediction there, Jeff.
all right, leading into the quote, what's the song? Do you remember?
I don't even remember when I read it a half hour ago.
Ooh.
He's whistling, isn't he?
Yeah, but he tells
Yeah,
it.
the
The seasons
of
of
my love.
my love.
What does Myrish mean?
Mirish. It's like
Mirish, it's a Mir is a city. Kind of
Okay.
like
In the
kinda
east,
like
I'm pretty
Bravos.
sure, right?
Yeah.
Is it in the
Kinda
east?
like, it's south of Bravos. I think it's a port city.
But it's in Essos is what I was getting at.
Correct.
yes, it's in SS.
There's three like islands that are really close to each other right off the coast. Mir, Tyrosh, and Lyce. And Mirish is from the island Mir.
So anyway, he's singing this song.
Well, he's
and
whistling
then-
it. And he
What's
says
that?
he learned it from a girl he bedded. And
Yeah.
he tells the
The
story.
first girl he betted, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So
First ever.
who's doing what? I don't know if is somebody gonna be Braun, somebody gonna be narrator.
Oh, we're reading
Yeah.
it.
It's gonna be
It's gonna be
mostly It's gonna be mostly probably me as Tyrion. Glow, your
Yeah,
narrator.
I'll be narrator.
So this is like a campfire story. I'm telling Braun. That's gonna be my tone. Tyrion at a campfire. Kyle, can you make campfire noises? Alright, stop. Jamie and I were riding back from Lannisport when we heard a scream, and she came running out into the road with two men dodging at her heels, shouting threats. My brother unsheathed his sword and went after them while I dismounted to protect the girl. She was scarcely a year older than I was, dark-haired, slender, with a face that would break your heart. It certainly broke mine. Low-born, half-starved, unwashed, yet lovely. They'd torn the rags she was wearing half off her back, so I'd wrapped her in my cloak while Jamie chased the men into the woods. By the time he came trotting back, I'd gotten a name out of her and a story. She was a crofter's child, orphaned when her father died of a fever, on her way to, well, nowhere really. Jamie was all in a lather to hunt down the men. It was not often outlaws dared prey on travelers so near Castle Rock, and he took it as an insult. The girl was too frightened to send off by herself, though, so I offered to take her to the closest inn and feed her while my brother rode back to the rock for help. She was hungrier than I would have believed. We finished 2 whole chickens and part of a third, and I drank a flagon of wine, talking. I was only 13, and the wine went to my head, I fear. The next thing I knew, I was sharing her bed. If she was shy, I was shyer. I'll never know where I found the courage. When I broke her maidenhead, she wept, but afterwards she kissed me and sang her little song, and by the morning I was in love.
You?
Braun's voice was amused.
Absurd, isn't it?
Tyrion began to whistle the song again.
I married her.
He finally admitted.
A Lannister of Castle Rock wed to a crofter's daughter.
Braun said.
How'd you manage that?
Oh, you'd be astonished at what a boy can make of a few lies, 50 pieces of silver, and a drunken septon. I dare not bring my bride home to Castle Rock, so I set her up in a cottage of my own, and for a fortnight we played at being man and wife. And then the septon sobered and confessed all to my lord father.
Tyrion was surprised at how desolate it made him feel to say it, even after all these years. Perhaps he was just tired.
That was the end of my marriage.
He sat up and stared at the dying fire, blinking at the light.
He sent the girl away.
He did better than that.
Tyrion said.
First, he made my brother tell me the truth. The girl was a whore, you see. Jamie arranged the whole affair. The road, the outlaws, all of it. He thought it was time I had a woman. He paid double for a maiden, knowing it would be my first time. After Jamie had made his confession, to drive home the lesson, Lord Tywin brought my wife in and gave her to his guards. They paid her fair enough, a silver for each man. How many whores command that high a price? He sat me down in the corner of the barracks and bade me watch. And at the end, she had so many silvers, the coins were slipping through her fingers and rolling on the floor.
The smoke was stinging his eyes. Tyrion cleared his throat and turned away from the fire to gaze out into the darkness.
Lord Tywin had me go last,
he said in a quiet voice.
And he gave me a gold coin to pay her, because I was a Lannister and worth more.
After a time, he heard the noise again, the rasp of steel on stone as Bronn sharpened his sword.
13 or 30 or 3. I would have killed the man who did that to me.
All right, that's where I had it stopping. So that's for the age, right? 13, 30, or 3?
Yeah, he's like, it doesn't matter how fucking old you are.
Oh, I thought that was how many men he was banging.
That's what I thought at first, too, but I think it was because Tyrion said he was 13. So Tysha was 14 here.
Who?
Tysha.
The wife.
Name.
That's how you say her name?
I mean,
they did say her name here, right?
Name, so.
No, I don't think they did, actually.
That's her name.
That's why I said who.
I'm pretty sure they said it.
No, I don't think so. I'd gotten her name, but that's out. That's it.
Sorry. Didn't mean to,
You just read through it.
spoil that for you.
Say
Yeah, I didn't hear it there either.
Anyway,
So then Tyrion, what's Tyrion's response to the end there?
he said, Lannister always pays his debts.
Well, he says, yeah, you
he
might
said
get a
you
chance.
may get the chance one day.
Basically,
So
kill
yeah,
the
I
man
mean,
that did that
and
to me.
he's not saying my father or anything. He always talks about him as Lord Tywin. So obviously he doesn't respect this man.
Have
He
we?
doesn't respect him?
Oh, we haven't met Lord Tywin yet.
You don't
Not
think he
really.
respects Lord Tywin? You don't think this means he respects him more that he calls him Lord Tywin instead of father or something?
No, I think it's more of like this piece of shit, Lord Tywin. He's no father to me.
Okay.
And I mean, that kind of goes with the whole they disown Tyrion pretty much anyway as well. Like, I mean, Jaime's the only one that seems to give a too much of a shit about him other than the family connection.
True, but Tyrion kind of preaches, like, the thing that he always preaches is know what you are, like, get over it. Right? He can't play the dwarf card all the time if that's what he's saying. Like, right? Like what he tells Jon earlier
that's not
is
what I'm
basically,
saying, though. I think
is basically
I'm
like,
saying-
yeah, sure, you can be a dwarf, you can be a bastard, but look what you got. Like, I thought it was kind of like look at the highlights in life, and I don't know. I feel like he plays the dwarf card for a lot for having that be his outlook on life. And I'm not saying that it's obviously not a huge inconvenience and a huge like barrier to life, but when your outlook is like when your whole motive and your whole shtick is sure get over it, but I'm a high lord, right? I might be a dwarf, but I'm a high lord, so I still have it better than 90% of the people, and that's like the thing that he's like trying to preach to people. That should be what you
I don't think that
practice
has
what you
anything
preach. I
to do
guess
with whether or not he respects Lord Tywin.
no, but that's like just kind of what you were saying earlier.
The best thing about that is we're about to, Tyrion's relationship with his dad. It's just gonna be a whole another element of the character building, and we'll get some more filler chapters for Kyle.
Filler.
It's not filler.
So what is, speaking of his father, what's Tyrion's dream of when he so Tyrion like dozes off here for a couple hours, I guess.
He dreams
dreams
being the
he's,
Galler. He's moored.
Yeah, he thinks, or he dreams he's
I'm
moored
gonna say
and
Galler.
his
'Cause
father's
I'm
in
never
the
gonna
cell.
think about saying
Gaylor.
Gaylor. Who gives a fuck? We've all said it our own fucking way.
Yeah, but I'm right. And who's the prisoner that he's the goaler for?
Lord Tywin.
Tywin. And he's trying to kick him off the edge or push him off the edge. Tyrion is in the dream.
Yes.
And then he gets woken up.
Bronn says, Tyrion. Tyrion wakes up right away, sees that the fire is basically embers, and then sees a bunch of shadows stalking all around him. And then he says, hey guys, come hang out and have some goat, some of our goat. And one guy pops out, he's like, that's our goat, bro.
He's on mountain.
Your goat, have some of your goat.
Yeah, that's a good change up.
Of course it is. Of course it's your goat.
And then he starts saying like all the shit that he could give him, and he's like, "These are already ours, you dumb fuck. Like, what can you give?"
Well, he
us
asked
other
who
than
they
your
are.
life?"
So, Kat, who are these cats?
They're the Iron.
They only
Stone
really
Crow.
named 3. Yeah,
The Stone Crows.
That's all I need.
They only really named three major ones here.
Khan, Tarek, Shagga, Gunthor.
Gunthor, Shaggy, and Khan are the only ones that have like multiple
Jagged.
lines.
So you guys are gonna fucking flip your lid. You know how you say that? Jailer.
That's what I said.
Bullshit.
No.
Glow
You
can
pronounce
go
that
fuck
jailer.
himself.
Oh, I said
Not
Gaylor.
Galler, not Galler. It's Jailer.
Who was saying jailer?
It's Gaylor.
Nobody was
Glow
saying
Saying
Jailer.
We
Gaylor
were all
with a
wrong.
J.
All three of
Yeah.
us were wrong.
I didn't say anything because I had no idea.
All right, moving on.
So they introduce themselves, guys.
There's a lot though. So I only named 3, but there's like probably about 20 of them, right?
Yeah.
He names like
10,
7 or
like
so.
15.
So there's
10
10
at
more.
least. He says 10 at least.
Yeah.
And they're all in like shitty weaponry, pitchforks and fucking hand-me-down fighting weapons. I like this about Tyrion, what he says, like, I am Tyrion, son of Tywin, of the clan Lannister, the Lions of the Rock.
Yes, that he introduced himself. Saying
Which is weird that he knows to talk. I mean, I guess it's just
Well,
because
they all
that's
just
how
did
they
it,
announce
yeah.
himself, but it's still, I mean, he's a smart guy. I shouldn't downgrade him.
It's crafty.
Yeah, so this is when he offers everything he has. He's
Well,
like, you can
we'll
have
gladly
everything.
pay. Yeah, and they're like, yeah, well, we're gonna take that after we kill you, no matter fucking what.
He's like, you're dead already. You're dead right now, so that's ours already. So what do you have that like? Which is kind of a weird. For people who are like kind of savages, it's kind of like an abstract thought. Like, what else can you get me if it's not what you have immediately on your person, right?
No, it's exactly what they're thinking because they know they can kill it's 2 guys. So maybe Bronn kills 3, but
Like,
they're gonna win this fight.
So they lucked out, right? They lucked out with Tyrion. Tyrion is the type of person who could give them something, but like the normal person that they encounter like this, what's the best they could hope for, right? From this exchange, from this offering this, like, okay, what else could you give me? Right,
More gold and food, maybe.
Like take me back to my house.
Like you wouldn't even think about going to. Oh well, you don't have any good shield or swords or weapons. Like no one, they're just gonna think money or.
That's what I'm saying. So why do they offer? Like, why this can't be a common tactic when they're out there raiding?
Well, also
Tyrion
because I think the first reaction when you wake up is they attack. So like 2 guys by themselves.
Yeah, I think Tyrion kind of lulled him into it, right? I guess that's what I'm getting at.
He definitely did because he kept talking about what they were going to give him.
Yeah, I think normally there's not even a conversation that happens. There's just like dead. But Tyrion like saw them coming and was like, "Hey, come get some goat." And as funny as it is, it like works to like not get them immediately killed.
Yeah, and doesn't he? The best line is when he
Icebreaker.
talks about they're like, "How do you want to die, dwarf, half man?" And
in my own bed with a belly full of wine and a maiden's mouth around my cock at the age of 80.
it's great.
Classic Tyrion.
So Shagga laughs, but like not the rest of them so much. So like Tyrion's kind of trying to win him over, like, kind of like he did to Bronn, right? Like kind of realize that he's funny and just like a kind of like a chill.
He's trying to
dude at
humanize
first.
himself.
Yeah. But the rest of them aren't kind of on board. Shagga laughed at the first joke, and he's like, "Take the horses, kill Bronn, and keep Tyrion. He can milk goats and amuse the mothers."
Gunther says kill Bronn and then take him to the maidens, whatever, milk the goats. And then Bronn steps up, is like, yo, who's dying first? And Tyrion says, yo, hold your fucking horses. Come on, Gunther. I'm from a rich house. I can get you some stuff if you give me clear passage to my house. I can get you plenty of stuff. And Gunther's like, dude, I do not want gold from a worthless half-man.
From the lowlands.
And
Does he
So
say?
they calls him. I think he calls him a half man, right?
Yeah, lowland lord.
And then
Yeah.
Tyrion responds to that
Yeah, he
is, I
does
might
call
be a
him a
half man, but at least I stand up to my enemies. I don't like hide when actual knights run by and then like attack groups of 2 men. So he like attacks their pride.
Tyrion does that a lot. He attacks people with pride.
But like normally if you do it right away, like he's so good at it though, because if you do it right away, they'll kill you. But if you wait and like kind of make a joke or 2 and then do it, it's like, are we joking? Was that supposed to be a joke that went too far? I don't know, right?
No, I mean, I think he knows his sword is his tongue, and he uses that to the best of his ability. And
Hey boy, what's that
His-
tongue
His
do?
negotiation tactic. You kind of build him up a little bit, get a little close, and then you cut him a little. Like Jeff said, it's his sword. So yeah, then he gets them all riled up, and then he realizes, fuck, these guys aren't armed too well.
They got nothing. They got twigs and berries.
Well, actually, he realized that before, but yeah, he realized that this could be his way out. He said, "Are those the best weapons you could steal? My father Smith's shit better steal than that."
Yep.
Little boy man.
I love that little boy. They call him little boy,
Yeah.
little boy man. Will you mock my axe after I chop off your manhood and feed it to the goats? And then the other one stop Gunther. So I think who says that? Shagga says that. And then Gunther
Yeah.
stops him and was like, "No, I want to hear what he's got to say." He's like, "We're hungry, and steel fills more bellies than gold." And Tyrion tells him what he's going to give him, everything, not just
whatever you want.
It's weird because at first he offers
No,
steel.
Tyrion says, "I will give you the
It's weird, 'cause
veil."
at first
of
he
Aaron.
offers steel, and then he goes to the Veil of Aaron. But I guess through conquest, which requires steel, is what he's getting at.
Well, he's
definitely.
like, you fight with me, and I'll give you a place that you don't have to hide anymore. Pretty much, and it's pretty dope. They got this giant tower and these cells that like angled to your death, you know, like up there.
Dude, they got this door that you can throw people out of.
With everything we just learned about the Vale and the Eyrie and the castle itself, do we really think him getting some fucking swords to the Stone Crows are going to be able to take over the Vale?
So I guess this leads into what my next question for Kyle is. What's next for the Tyrion story? Do we kind of just take a total U-turn real quick or total sidetrack? Tyrion's on a side mission from this dagger thing, and now we're helping out mountain people. Is this kind of like an IOU to the mountain people, and we're just beelining this right now, and we're gonna circle back to what's happening next with Tyrion?
Well, this is what I said before. Like, I changed a little because I said they were gonna wait for Jaime, but it sounds like they're probably gonna have to go and arm these dudes first. So I think he's gonna, or hear me out now. So, or he's gonna leave and go through and arm them all. Because this is just one clan.
Where's Tyrion getting arms? With that, if he's not waiting for
That's
Jaime.
what I'm saying. He's
know,
gonna
like,
go back to Castle of the Rock.
Just know how long that's gonna actually take him.
Well, if it's season 8, it'll take like 2 minutes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I just know that's a joke. Everybody, like they said, they really compress the island.
Timetables don't matter in season 8.
I would agree with Jeff for the most part, but like Catelyn got to from Winterfell to King's Landing in a chapter.
Yeah, I'm just saying we're
There's
going to
time
be in a
that
lot different
passed, though.
spot by the time he gets there.
I'm sure we'd see a few Ned chapters before we saw that, if that happened, because they try and like space them out so the time matches up. So we'd see a lot of shit happening before we saw another Tyrion if we saw that. But
Yeah, that's,
if we're
that's
getting into
fair.
your perspective.
I mean, I think that they're gonna find a way to arm these dudes. So I don't think this is all bullshit. Because, I mean, that's really what Tyrion talks about this entire time of this chapter mainly. Is I think he says it twice, right? That Lannister always pays his debts.
And then he like kind of talks about how he actually did it with Mord. And I think he probably told Mord that earlier, right?
Yeah, he's willing to do it. He was like, you come to my house, I'll definitely pay you more. This is what I got. Like, I mean, he sounds like he means to do what he says. So
So we totally skipped over without talking about it. The story about Tysha, Kyle, Tyrion's 13. What are your thoughts about what happened?
that's fucked up, man.
That is ridiculously
He's
fucked
a
up.
13-year-old
That's-
sleeping with a whore?
No, not that. I mean, we talked about that already with this. Like, I mean,
Yeah, that's okay.
everybody's already like 8 when they're doing it, right?
That's okay, especially if it's a guy.
and I mean, Jeff would have thought
Well, that's a
Tysha
double
was hot,
standard.
right?
Yeah, she's of age.
It's not okay if it's Danny.
No,
It
it's not
obviously
alright.
is, because she just went and got married.
No.
And it was consensual by Tyrion.
This is not the stance that I'm taking on this. I mean,
I know it's not the legal stance. But she's the same age. First off, she's the same age, so I'm totally cool with it. I'm
She's
totally
a
cool
year
with it.
older.
Yeah, this is.
He was
totally
bamboozled.
Yeah,
13,
She's a
14.
year older.
Same. 13's kind of young. What
Tell
grade
that
is
to a
that?
17-year-old.
What grade is that? What grade is that? What grade's 13?
fun. Probably
13,
like
you're in
9th
seventh
or
grade.
8th.
Yikes! Yeah, that's a little young. But
Seventh.
these are. It's a different time.
That's more of what I was getting at. I think. I don't remember.
Okay.
what I was
Anyway,
saying,
skipping ahead before I look even more like a creep. Go ahead, Kyle.
But I lost my train of thought. Yeah, no, I mean, it's super fucked up, and I can understand why he would want vengeance against his father. That's what I was saying before. So you said we skipped over it, but I think that hit my main point of that story. Was like he's still got this bone to pick with his dad that has definitely ruined him for his life. Like, so that has changed the course of his life.
So do you remember anything else that we like? I actually don't even have anything in mind here, but we've heard of Tywin a few times. I have him mentioned like at least 15 times so far in this book.
Yeah,
Really? See, I
think Cersei brings him up a
Most
lot.
it's probably just like in passing most of the time. Probably a lot of it. He was the one that took over King's Landing in Robert's Rebellion, right? Robert got hurt on the Trident when he killed Rhaegar, and Tywin comes into the city with the Lannister army when Jaime's already in there with the king because he's the Kingsguard. Tywin's that, so I'm sure he got mentioned there probably 3 or 4 times. I was just wondering if you had any thoughts about him before this chapter.
Well, so I mean, I think in order to breed these assholes, he has to be some sort of asshole himself. So I mean, I think that alone.
I mean, but Tyrion's pretty chill from what we know so far.
He's a narcissist.
No, he's kind of an asshole.
Right?
They're all douchebags.
Like, I mean, that's just who he is. He's a little prick. But I think this kind of gives a little more insight into his motives and what his motives will be moving forward. And like I said, I think he's still got some revenge in mind here for his dad.
Some vengeance.
I mean, well, he straight up says
we'll have my vengeance.
So that's not even a prediction.
And I know I'm picking you a lot, but so I guess in the short term again, back to Tyrion. So he gets weapons for the clans, and then so he promises them the Vale. Is it just like, hey, here's some weapons?
So I don't think it's just these stone crows that are going to get the Vale, or I think he means all of them is what it's going to come down to.
But
right now I know
the clans aren't like together.
I know, but I think he's going to send the crows off to rally the clans while he goes to get arms.
Tyrion's going to be the one to unite all the clans.
I'm not actually asking like technicalities and like logistics of how it's going to happen. But just like in basically what do you see for the next 3 chapters? Like the rest of Tyrion's storyline in this book. Are we following the Dagger storyline? Or are we on these clans guys now and fighting the Vale? Or a mixture of both? I guess is what
I think there's going to be people around him that he can ask these questions to still.
Okay.
He's going to go to, wasn't that what he said? He's going to go to Casterly Rock.
I guess, yeah, you said Jaime's coming, if Jaime's going to be the one that comes with his army or whatever.
And we know Jaime's at Casterly Rock. It says he ran away to Casterly Rock.
He did say Casterly Rock or King's Landing.
That was his original plan, yeah.
But I think it's going to be Casterly Rock to ask these questions. Because I think Jaime is one of the people he wants to talk to.
I would agree that Casterly Rock makes more sense. First off, that's where the army is that he could get weapons from. Just want to point out that King's Landing is probably like a third the distance that Casterly Rock is.
I don't care.
Just throw, okay. Just
I don't care.
I know that wasn't on the map we looked at earlier.
No, it is. It is on the map.
Casterly Rock is way off to the left.
No, it's on my map.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm looking at Casterly Rock here.
Is that map drawn to scale though, Kyle?
He's looking at the one in the book. It should be good.
So Casterly Rock on this map looks like maybe
double the distance.
Maybe
I think more
further.
It's got to be like Pennsylvania to California.
They're the same height, north south wise, as King's Landing and Casterly Rock.
I don't have a ruler.
Yeah, but you still got to go to the Trident. Either way, you have to go to the Trident, and then that way and that way. I think it's maybe a little over double, maybe. The way my dash lines are showing.
All right. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
All right, maybe double.
Anyway,
double.
That's a useless argument.
We also know what's on the pathway there is River Run.
That's true. They got to go through River Run.
If he's going to go to Casterly Rock, he's got to go. Yeah, he's got to go through River Run.
Huh. I didn't think of that part, but
interesting things to think about for Kyle and the listeners. Until next time, when we get into Eddard 11.
That's a good pokes a hole in my theory, but that's a good one.
So I just want to make sure I have clear predictions from Kyle, just so I have something that we can I have to write it down now. So yeah, I have Cersei, Jaime did the kills. Tyrion gets weapons for clansmen. Those are the 2 Kyle predictions. Cersei, Jaime did the kills. Tyrion gets weapons for clansmen.
At Casterly Rock.
So this is one I don't have much faith in this prediction. You've given me less faith in this, so that's fine. And I'll leave it at that.
I'm going to be honest, dude. I totally forget where it goes from here. I kind of remember, but I kind of really
know exactly what goes on.
I know where he goes, or I know who he sees next, but I don't know how he goes.
All right.
Bye, Kyle.
Or where it's at.
Bye,
Who'd you see, Glow?
It was a pleasure.
Tywin shows up.
See you later, Kyle. It's great hanging out, friend.
Kyle.
We'll see you in the next episode for Eddard 11. Have a good one, pal.
See you guys.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
See you later, Kyle. It's great hanging out, friend.
Bye,
We'll see you on the next episode for Eddard 11. Now, on to the spoiler section. Boys, what are your hot takes for this sode?
Jeff, what you got?
I mean, I know the Taisha thing becomes big, and we get the whole Tyrion kills Tywin with a crossbow deal.
Why does the Taisha thing become big?
Because it becomes not true. She wasn't a whore.
She
actually loved Tyrion.
And Tywin had all these people rape her.
It didn't seem like she was putting up much of a fight. She might have liked the silver.
I'm sure she probably could have got her life threatened.
See, and this is where I disagree with you. We don't know. Like, this is the second time. Like, she was a whore. She wasn't a whore. She could have been a whore. Jamie could have just been trying to make him feel good again.
I don't know, man.
He knew this would kill him. Like, this obviously would not make him feel good.
No, this would not make him happy.
I get that what you're saying. If she was really
maybe he didn't want to make him happy. Maybe he's playing a couple games.
Well, I'm saying even the other way around. That like she probably got tortured first, but then they probably so she probably got tortured, and then so she's a crofter's daughter, so she's poor and doesn't really have a way to make money anyway, especially if her father really is dead.
Dude, just imagine what would happen. How many?
And now Tywin's gonna be like, "Hey, all these people are gonna fuck you, but you're gonna get a decent amount of money, like you're gonna get a fucking lot of money, right? It sucks, and it's like still
right,
rape, right?
So let's
but
say
like
50
there's
guards.
There's
like
a bonus
her.
to her.
I don't know about 50
guards.
Dude.
She's got 50.
The less the better, because the gold like the gold outshines. I think it's like 240 silver for a gold, right? So the gold outshines the rest. Like you would have to have 240 people to make it worth it. So I would just say like the less the better in this situation. And it's better not to think about it, but the gold at least is worth it, and that one at least.
One gold dragon is worth it.
Well, I mean, it's like the conversion is 210 silver stags for one gold dragon. Right, so you can, if you're trying to say like, 50 people, how much money does she have? Like, yeah, she maybe a lot, and there was a lot because it was spilling out of her fingers. But the gold is what she got from Tyrion is worth way more than I'm sure she got from the guards.
Dude, I'm sure.
Unless it was 210 guards.
Her vagina was ravaged.
This is a rough discussion, but yeah, so she got it bad. But it's fucked up that this is, if it's not a whore, this is Tyrion's wife that he actually loved and who actually loved him. Right, that's obviously way worse.
Yeah, no, definitely. If she was a whore, she would have been used to it, but I guess not, because it was her maid.
And it's somebody that Tyrion could be like, oh, this girl was lying to me. He could be like, oh, this girl was lying to me. She didn't actually love me. But this girl was his wife, dude. And again, maybe she probably did that just because he was rich, right? So who knows? But
for sure, we don't know if she loved
It's way
him
worse.
back.
It's way worse. So I don't know. I don't really have anything about that, but this becomes like a huge motivation for Tyrion in like book 5, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
he thinks about this,
obviously
like, every chapter probably
does some aggressive things for it and tries to
kills his dad.
What's the saying? Where do whores go?
Other than that, we asked a lot to Kyle about Tyrion's path going forward. We should have asked what he thought Bronn's path was going to be, because he becomes a lot bigger of a character.
Not really. He's way smaller of a character in the books than he is in the show.
In the books compared to the show.
It's early.
He gets married to the Stokeworth daughter, Lolly Stokeworth, who I think is like kind of slow.
Yeah, he does that in the show too, and then he becomes like fucking captain of the Lannister army.
That's a little bit different though. He starts training Jamie. He doesn't train Jamie.
So in the show he does that, but then he leaves with Jamie and goes to Dorne, and then he becomes the captain of the army and he's buddy with everybody. In the books he's literally like does that, and then he names a bastard. He names their child Tyrion or something like that, and Cersei gets pissed and tells Lady Tanda Stokeworth and her husband, I forget his name, to make sure that Bronn like dies on a hunting trip, like trips and falls on a hunting trip. But the dude's too honorable, so he challenges Bronn to one-on-one combat, and of course Bronn fucks him up. So then Bronn basically just like takes over the castle because he was married to the second daughter. He killed the father, and then I think he kills the older sister and basically just takes over the castle. And then that's like the last of it. Like Cersei's like, oh fuck him, but doesn't really do anything about it. And that's where it ends in the book, I'm pretty sure. That's like the last two we were.
You think we'll never see Bronn again?
I
we'll
doubt
see
it,
him
but
again.
I don't like. Everyone always says that like Bronn is one of the characters that was a fan favorite in the show, so they put him in way more than he actually was in the books, just because they wanted.
You know what was funny too is that him and Lena Headey hated each other.
Yeah, they were never on screen together because they used to date.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. Fun fact. That's all I really had.
I really had nothing for
spoilers. The only other thing I really had too was just a question for you guys. Do you think Tyrion will ever pay this debt? Considering where he's at now in
Super
Dance with
Stone
Dragons,
Bros?
across the sea, gonna be chilling with Danny.
I thought to give them the Erie. I thought that was more of a figurative thing. Is that the word?
Lannister
Yeah.
always pays his debts. I don't know if he can play that card.
What is the actual wording of it?
Lannister always
I will
pays
give
his
you
debt.
the
I'll give you the
Veil
Veil
of
of Aaron.
Ooh.
That's a tough one, Tyrion. You kind of backed yourself. So
I mean, I think he just needed to give him like the last final push. Like, look,
I just want to say a couple things. Tyrion has given something else away. Like something else he really doesn't have. He's given away. Promise people. Do you guys notice? It's in the last book. It's in Dance with Dragons.
it's in the last book.
What's his situation in the last book? Real quick, just walk through it.
He's
on the
with
river.
the pig girl.
On the river. When would he have to promise something to get out of a jam? He's on the river with Illyrio on the river, goes down, gets captured by Jorah. Jorah doesn't take any bribes. What happened to him and Jorah?
They get
He
gravestone.
goes to a whorehouse.
They get captured by the weird dude who likes grotesqueries.
That's right.
That guy dies of the bloody flux of the pale mare. And what's Tyrion do? When Mo Yeznak dies.
He jumps on the other ship.
He
don't
goes
they?
to the
He
Golden
goes
Company.
to Brown Ben Plum, who used to be on Danny's side but switched sides and is about to switch back, probably. He goes to Brown Ben Plum.
He's on a sellsword. I forget.
With Brown Ben Plum, who is the
It's not the Golden Company.
Second
It's the
Sons.
Windblow. Second Sons.
So the captain's the Second Sons. But, so Tyrion's still a slave. That chapter, his guy dies. Tyrion needs a way out. He says he's going to go get water with Penny. On the way out, he's like, we need Jorah's help to carry the water. And they kind of just like walk away and see Brown Ben. And they still have their slave collar on and everything. And he's like, you got to like let us join the company. And he's like, we'll be in a lot of trouble if we get found like freeing slaves. Like, because there's like slaves literally being killed for trying to escape and stuff. And Tyrion just starts like offering a shit ton of money to everybody. And I think he offers Castle Rock to Brown Ben Plum. So Tyrion's offering like the East. Tyrion's offering the West. When he meets up with Dany, if he meets up with Dany, he's going to have to be like, hey girl, I'd love to help you out, but just know this. If I do, when you win Westeros, we have to give like half of it away.
Yeah, and that's basically it for this episode. All right, thank you everyone for listening in. Please make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. Please give us likes on iTunes; it's really good for us. And please be sure to comment and ask any questions that you want us to talk about. All right, we'll see you next time on Eddard 11. Have a good night.
Bye.